TGON and AspMedia brings you Asphere's Cafe. The cafe is now open.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Asphere's Cafe. Today is Monday, January 26, 2026, and yes, we are back with another episode of our cafe. So today, we are back with another tech cafe, and of course, excuse me, and of course, we need to talk about Microsoft giving your encrypted BitLocker key to FBI. Yes, you heard that right. I am not kidding, because your encryption isn't safe anymore, apparently. Yes, your encryption isn't safe. And why is that? Well, we will get into that in a bit, but how are you all doing so far? So, yeah. How are your audience? How's our audiences doing so far tonight? So, yeah. Okay, so let me get my screen share up as always, and let me just check if there are any chats there. Yep, good evening, another week, another batch of latest tech news. That's right, that is right, Kuya Branch, as we will be covering all the latest in the tech news and whatnot. So without any further ado now, let's get into the round of our tech coffee. Okay, so our first in our headline is of course, yikes! It's not a good news. It's not a not so good news, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a so good news right here. So what you are seeing on the screen is, yup, as you are seeing in the headline, Microsoft gave FBI keys to unlock encrypted data, exposing major privacy flaw. Ouch! So this is coming from Forbes. Early last year, the FBI served Microsoft with a search warrant asking it to provide recovery keys to unlock encrypted data stored on 3 laptops. Federal investigators in Guam believe the devices held evidence that would help prove individuals handling the island's COVID unemployment assistance program were part of a plot to steal funds. The data was protected with BitLocker, software that's automatically enabled on many modern Windows PCs to safeguard all the data on the computer's hard drive. BitLocker scrambles the data so that only those with a key can decode it. It's possible for users to store those keys on the device they own, but Microsoft also recommends BitLocker users store their keys on its servers for convenience. While that means someone can access their data if they forget the password or if repeated failed attempts to lock the device, it also makes them vulnerable to law enforcement subpoenas and warrants. In the Guam case, and handed over the encryption keys to investigators. Microsoft confirmed to Forbes that it does provide BitLocker recovery keys if it receives a valid legal order. This is what Microsoft spokesperson Charles Chamberlain said, with a quote, "While key recovery offers convenience, it also carries a risk of unwanted access, so Microsoft believes customers are in the best position to decide how to manage their keys," end quote. He said the company receives around 20 requests for BitLocker keys per year, and in many cases, the user has not stored the key in the cloud, making it impossible for Microsoft to assist. So here is the quote from Matt Green, who is an associate professor at Johns Hopkins University. If Apple can do it, if Google can do it, then Microsoft can do it. The Guam case is the first known instance where the Redmond, Washington company has provided any encryption key to law enforcement. Back in 2013, a Microsoft engineer claimed he had been approached by government officials to install backdoors in BitLocker, but had turned the request down. Senator Ron Wyden said in a statement to Forbes that it is simply irresponsible for tech companies to ship products in a way that allows them to secretly turn over users' encryption keys. Allowing ICE or other job goons to secretly obtain a user's encryption keys is giving them access to the entirety of that person's digital life and risk the personal safety and security of users and their families, he added. This isn't just an issue in the US. Jennifer Gundrich, Surveillance and Cybersecurity Council at the ACLU noted that foreign governments with questionable human rights records can also demand data from tech giants like Microsoft. She said, remote storage of decryption keys can be quite dangerous. Law enforcement regularly ask tech giants to provide encryption keys, implement backdoor access, or weaken their security in other ways. But other companies have refused. Apple in particular has repeatedly been asked for access to encrypted data in its cloud or on devices. In a highly publicized showdown with the government in 2016, Apple fought an FBI order to help open phones belonging to terrorists who shot and killed 14 in San Bernardino, California. Ultimately, the FBI found a contractor to hack into the iPhones. Privacy and encryption experts told Forbes the onus should be on Microsoft to provide stronger protection for consumers' personal devices and data. Apple, with its comparable file vault and password systems, and Meta's WhatsApp messaging app also allow users to back up data on their apps and store a key in the cloud. However, both also allow the user to put the key in an encrypted file in the cloud, making cloud enforcement requests for it useless. Neither are reported to have turned over encryption keys of any kind in the past. So, this is what Matt Green has to say, who is a cryptography expert and associate professor at the Johns Hopkins University Information Security Institute. This is private data on a private computer, and they made the architectural choice to hold access to that data. They absolutely should be treating it like something that belongs to the user. If Apple can do it, if Google can do it, then Microsoft can do it. Microsoft is the only company that's not doing this, he added. And continuing, it's a little weird. The lesson here is that if you have access to keys, eventually law enforcement is going to come. Garnick raised concerns about the breadth of information that the FBI could obtain if agents get access to data protected by BitLocker. This is what Garnick continued. The keys give the government access to information well beyond the time frame of most crimes, everything on the hard drive, she said. Then we have to trust that the agents only look for information relevant to the authorities' investigation and to not take advantage of the windfall to rummage around. In the Guam case, the court docket shows the warrant was successfully executed. The lawyer for defendant Charissa Tenorio, who pleaded not guilty, said the information provided to her by the case prosecutors included information from her client's computer and that it included references to BitLocker keys that Microsoft had provided the FBI. The case is ongoing. Both Green and Garnick said Microsoft could have users install a key on a piece of hardware like a thumb drive, which would act as a backup or recovery key. Microsoft does allow for that option, but it's not the default setting for BitLocker on Windows PCs. Without the encryption keys from Microsoft, the FBI would have struggled to get any useful data from the computers. BitLocker's encryption algorithms have proven impenetrable to prior law enforcement attempts to break in, according to a Forbes review of historical cases. In early 2025, a forensic expert with ICE Homeland Security Investigations Unit wrote in a court document that his agency did not process the forensic tools to break into devices encrypted with Microsoft BitLocker or any other style of encryption. In one previous case, federal investigators obtained keys by discovering that a suspect had stored them on unencrypted drives. Now that the FBI and other agencies know Microsoft will comply with warrants similar to the Guam case, they will likely make more demands for encryption keys, Green said. My experience is once the US government gets used to having a capability, it's very hard to get rid of it. Yeah, this is really scary. So, I don't know what I can say about this, but this is already a high privacy risk. Now that law enforcement have the ability to request Microsoft to get BitLocker keys and give it to them. That is already a huge privacy risk. I'm saying this right there. So, with this concern news, I will say this right now. If you have BitLocker enabled and it is back up to your Microsoft account, turn it off now. you do not want to be exposed to this threat, and I hope so. I hope you are going to be exposed too. So, if you have Microsoft account linked to your if you have a Microsoft account linked to your Windows PC, and if you have BitLocker enabled, turn it off now. This cannot be. I say this because this method, after law enforcement reports, I cannot trust this. Okay, it's too much. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comment section down below, and to our audiences, what do you feel about this? Any thoughts? I'm giving you anyone. I'm giving anyone a chance to leave their thoughts right now. And while we're at it, we are live right here on Cool FM as radio, and also on our social media platforms on Facebook via TGON Cool FM Manila, and on YouTube via Asphere's Cafe AspMedia's YouTube channel. All right. So, Discord audiences, what are your thoughts on this? Let's start with Toracer. If you want to participate, go ahead. But yeah, Toracer, what is your take on this concerning privacy news? And speaking of privacy news, I have some more to share that is even more concerning, which we will get into that in a bit. But for now, let's see what Toracer has to say, or if there's any of them. All right, none. All right, so right, let's move on to the next one, and this time it's very concerning. So GB and Deep Humor have reported that UK will now be voting to extend age verification to VPNs. Oh my God, what in the world is going on with this society, right? This is bad. This is really bad. So, and the screenshot you're seeing is coming from Reclaim the Net, which we will read it in a bit. But first, let me see the post from Chibi Reviews and Deep Humor. So let's start with Chibi Reviews, who is the anime YouTuber, and his name is Jacob. So you can see this is a screenshot of Reclaim the Net article, and if we scroll down to the comments, you can see people are getting tired of it, right? Yeah, see, people are getting tired of it. And good thing someone pointed out too. Doesn't that defeat the purpose of a VPN? Are these people really that stupid? No one is going along with anything they're pushing, but they seriously want people to be stupid for them. Yes, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Yeah, they're not wrong. It is the lawyers who are having a hard time not knowing what the purpose of VPN is. Yeah, see, doesn't that defeat the object of a VPN? You can tell it's very concerning. I can guarantee you that it is very concerning. And over to the humor now. This is what he has to say. This should be alarming to the entire world. The UK wants VPN to have ID age verification. Yuck! 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 Isn't that bad? Isn't that gonna destroy the purpose of having a privacy? Yuck! This is not good. And yeah, they're telling people to wake up, of course. And this thing is not going to get better. Exactly. So this is what they had to say on Deep Humor post. VPNs are not free. You need a VPN. Yeah, obviously you have. If you want to have a good quality VPN, you have to pay for it, right? I mean, there's a free VPN that is good. That is Windscribe. So shout out to Windscribe. I highly recommend using Windscribe if you want a good free quality VPN. Go with Windscribe. So you also can see in the replies. There's so many people are being skeptical right here. And yeah, nothing is going to happen. We need a new UK one built in Liberty. And are the House of Lords going to be responsible for kids' phones getting hacked when they take away the... That's right. As older folk die off, everyone eventually will have no power or control over their identity. You can be switched off from all the necessary live services, disappear, and who knows what else they are. Yeah. I'm scared, guys. This is bad. This is really bad. So, yeah. Now we will head over to an article that Chibi shared. I did my research. Where is this from? And thanks to the screenshot and thanks to what Chibi posted, this is coming from Reclaim the Net. So yeah, we'll be reading this from reclaim the net. So this is what they posted. The UK House of Lords has voted to extend age assurance requirements, effectively age verification mandates, to virtual private networks or VPNs and a wide range of online platforms under the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill. The decision deepens the reach of the already controversial Online Safety Act, linking child safety goals to mechanisms that could have severe effects on primary communication and digital autonomy. Under the existing Online Safety Act framework, user-to-user services include almost any online platform that enables individuals to post, share, or interact with content from others. This definition covers social networks, messaging apps, forums, and online gaming services. Only a few forms of communication, such as email, SMS, MMS, and one-to-one live voice calls, are explicitly excluded. While political messaging around the vote often describe the move as a social media ban for under 16s, the actual scope is considerably wider. In effect, most interactive online platforms would now need to collect and verify age data from users, even where those services are not primarily aimed at children. This represents a major expansion of identity checks across digital infrastructure, once considered neutral or privacy protective, and one of the most disciplinarian proposals in the West. Two key amendments advanced during the Lord's debate on January 21. Amendment 92, action to prohibit the provision of VPN services to children in the United Kingdom, requires VPNs that are offered or marketed to persons in the United Kingdom or provided to a significant number of persons to implement age assurance for UK users. The measure passed by 207 content votes to 159 not content votes. So if you look very closely, you can see over 207 people in favor, 159 people not in favor. Now, on the other hand, Amendment 94A, action to promote the well-being of children in relation to social media, mandates that all regulated user-to-user services introduce age assurance systems to prevent under 16s from becoming or being users. This proposal passed with 261 content votes to 150 not content votes. So 261 content being 261 people in favor and 150 people not content being 150 not in favor. So this right here is very similar to Australia, and you can tell they are following footsteps of Australia's social media ban under 16 years. Both amendments will proceed to the bill's next stage, the third reading in the House of Lords. Two other amendments, both more technologically intrusive, were discussed but rejected. At least the other two amendments, well, that did not push through, thankfully. So what are the other two amendments? Well, Amendment 93, introduced by Lord Nash, would have compelled smartphone and tablet manufacturers, distributors, and importers to install tamper-proof system software, which is highly effective at preventing the recording, transmitting by any means, including live streaming, and viewing of CSAM using that device. Now, yeah, this is very bad. This line right there is very bad. And thankfully, they made the right call. They made the right call to cancel or reject that amendment. So at least they made a right call not to proceed. Good. Keep it that way. This is bad. Now, the only plausible way to enforce such a measure would be through constant automated inspection of every photo, video, and stream on the device. This form of surveillance would have converted personal devices into continuous content monitors. Yup, you heard that right. Converting your personal devices into continuous content monitors. Oh my god. But man, I'm so happy they did not approve this amendment. It got rejected. Thank God for that. But still. But what I said right there is raising severe privacy and accuracy concerns, including potential false positives. So why did they reject that? Well, Lord Nash stated, on Amendment 93, I have had a constructive discussion with ministers on this issue and more discussions are in progress, so I will not push that to a vote today. Good. I hope you keep it that way. This should never be passed. If this was passed, it's bad. It's a bad look for UK citizens, huh? It's gonna look bad. Now, Another one, and this time is coming from Lord Story, who proposed it, that is Amendment 108, which would have required user-to-user services likely to be accessed by children to set their own minimum age thresholds and use age assurance to enforce them. He argued that a single blanket ban under Amendment 94A was overly rigid. This is what he said. Having different minimum ages for different platforms would be a better solution, noting that maintaining that his version would be more effective in practice. Neither of these amendments have passed, one being Amendment 93 and one being Amendment 108. But the most concerning about this is Amendment 93 and Amendment 92. But one got rejected, thankfully, is Amendment 93, because if this was approved, this will be a doom. This will spell a doom. But thank God that did not happen. So only two amendments which spoiler alert, both are bad, are Amendment 92 and Amendment 94A. Again, Amendment 93 is worst. Okay? Amendment 93 is worst, which thankfully that did not push through. So there's that. And aside from Amendment 93, Amendment 108 are the ones that did not push through. So the discussion highlights a deepening push within UK legislation to merge digital identity checks with online participation. While described as safeguarding children, yeah, sure, the changes embed a new layer of identity verification across tools once used for privacy, such as VPNs. These services designed to conceal personal browsing data and protect against profiling would now face obligations to verify who their users are. This is a contradiction that could erode one of the few remaining shields for private internet use. For now, the most invasive surveillance measure, client-side scanning, has been set aside. Thank God, because if this was passed, it's going to spell the end of your privacy rights in the UK. If this was passed, it's not good. However, the fact that it was seriously considered indicates continuing interest in embedding scanning mechanisms directly into personal devices. Whether similar proposals reappear during the third reading remains to be seen, which I hope that Amendment 93 would not be in third reading, because if this was in the third reading, and if that was approved, that is going to be bad. Mark my words. If this amendment, or known as Amendment 93, became part of the third reading of the House of Lords, if that gets approved in the third reading, this is bad. This right here is a bad sign. I do not want this to happen. Number one, it's concerning. Number two, it invades your privacy rights. And number three, law enforcement agencies can monitor what you're doing. It's not good. So thankfully, Amendment 93 is not approved, or I should say, thankfully, Amendment 93 didn't push through. So yeah, again, if this was in a third reading and it got approved, yeah, that is bad. That's bad. That is really bad. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is another nail in the coffin. While the other two amendments, which were also bad, got turned down, thankfully. But still, voting in favor of extending age verification to VPNs, what the hell? Seriously, what the hell? So what are your thoughts on the UK House of Lords passing an amendment to extend age verification to VPNs? Do you think this is a good idea? I would say no, not for me. But I want to hear from you, audiences. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comment section down below. And to our Discord audiences, do you have any say about this? Yeah, do you have any say about this? And ladies and gentlemen, do you have any say about this? Because I had to bring this up, and knowing the privacy world is at risk, I had to make a call to bring this up, which thankfully I did. So yeah, I want to hear your thoughts, audiences. Let us know in our Discord chat there, of course, and yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. Okay, it is now 6:58 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, and we still have a lot more to cover right here on our show. But in the meantime, I'm going to be preparing our commercial break in the meantime. But yeah, before I head to commercial break, shout out to one of our Discord audiences who are in the stage right now. That is Azaris Zalia and Tor Racer. Yeah, these are the audiences. These are the audiences who are watching my show. So thank you so much for showing for showing your continued support to our show, and I hope you all can continue to support us. So I'm still preparing while in the meantime. So yeah. By the way, later in our cafe, we will also be talking about what's happening in the latest tech news aside from the first two that we just talked about. One being the BitLocker keys, where law enforcement agencies can now request Microsoft to decrypt it and give it to them. It's bad, yeah. And the second is the UK House of Lords approving an amendment that could extend age verification of VPNs, which we did talk about as well. So yeah, again, either way, it's a bad look. So yeah, I hope you all are aware of this, because if you are in the UK, you really need to spread the word about. If you're in the UK, you need to spread the word, because the world in terms of privacy is coming to an end, and unfortunately, if we really want to fight back, we have to do something. We need to advocate, calling for a government to not pass the law, of course, and yeah, who knows how long privacy lasts, but I can already tell you it's not gonna last that long, because UK and Australia are already UK first. The UK is already considering a social media ban under 16 years old, while Australia, on the other hand, is already enforcing the social media ban for under 16 as well. So yeah, if we want to do something, we need to do something now. So if you are in the UK, please do your favor, contact your representatives, or if you're not in the UK, at least spread the word to the UK citizens that they need to hear this, and hopefully they can listen to us and understand that these are putting in a huge risk. So yeah. All right. In the meantime, it is now 7 o'clock in the evening, or Philippine Standard Time, and we will now be taking a break. So our fan-made sponsors, we have Delstone, Asphere Appliances, Dream Course Pizza, Kapinoy Coffee, Central Simplus, Melody Mart, and Always Grocery. All right, we'll be right back after these messages. So don't go anywhere. Right here on Cool FM and As Radio. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. It is now 7:11 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, and yes, we are back with another round of Tech Cafe right here on Asphere's Cafe. So without any further ado now, let's continue our Tech Cafe session, and let's see what we have here in my private server. What's covering? Okay, so let's see what we have here. We will get into the weekly smartphone poll results later, but for now we will focus on another regular tech news. So yeah, okay, yup. We are continuing with another Whelp news, and it is Whelp. They're caught red-handed, and this is they were using Microsoft Notepad, by the way, but they were caught red-handed. So, yup, not good. Anyway, so this is coming from Windows Central. Oh boy. So Microsoft Notepad is a dead case all staple of a Windows ecosystem. The simple text editor has undergone several permutations over the years, but the latest one has been controversial for a variety of reasons. So Microsoft Notepad now includes things like Microsoft Account Login, an optional Microsoft Copilot AI integration, and a few other annoyances nobody really asked for. Well, while the annoyances were introduced in Notepad, in the modern Notepad rather, they did introduce useful new features which are tab interfacing, more rich text editing features, markdown support, dark mode, and session states. It's that latter point that they were talking about today. Twitch streamer Lakari was a top 1,000 content creator on the platform. Emphasis on was because as of last week, he found himself permanently banned. Why? Because he didn't realize that Notepad would open up to a previous session, and for him, that session showed a file with links to CSAM, illicit material. I'm not gonna get into that what that means, but if you know, you know. So, Lakari had attempted to downplay the links when questioned during the live stream, but the damage was already done. He claimed that the links auto-downloaded among other excuses, but the internet wasn't buying it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They're in trouble. Users noted that when you have modern Notepad set to open up the previous session, it will also retain your highlighted text, suggesting that Lakari had been manually using the links he claimed he hadn't touched. So you can see the footage there. If we can play to you right here on X. Well, if you're curious what went wrong, here is the footage. Here is a full footage, which we'll play to you right now.
K feeds. Let me at least add a way to list of champions that I like.
Okay, did you see that? Well, did you see that? Did you see that? Yeah, did you see that? It's literally a questionable link showing on a stream. Did you see that? Did you see that? Oh my gosh, ladies and gents. If I can show it to you right here. This is an actual link you're seeing right here. But it's just blurred thankfully, which you're not supposed to see, but this is real. This is real, okay? This right here is real. He actually showed it off on the stream without realizing that the audiences are watching him. I'm not even sure if this was also reported on the drama channel that I watch every time, but let me just verify it one time. Let me just do a quick verification because I did listen to his Rev channel one time that he did cover this. So let me just double check if he actually covered it. Let me check. I believe this is titled Hassan is about to ruin his life lying about Asmon Gold. I wonder if I was right about this one. Let me just... Yes! 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 Yes, it's this YouTuber. Yes. Lakari, yes. It's this one. Yes! 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 There you go! There you go! Yes! That's what I'm talking about. This is what I am actually talking about right here, and yeah, Windows Central is actually talking about this as well. You know the media is having, when the mainstream media or a big tech media is also covering shows the sign that it is not a good way too. What could that go wrong, right? Yeah, see? Yeah, see? The drama channel is even talking about it. Windows Central is talking about it. I am also talking about it too. Not good. Let's see what happens, what the audiences had to say in the live chat. Up, up, up. Did you see that? Did you actually see that? He actually He actually dragged the notepad off from the stream. Well, let's see what happens. What the audience has had to say.
Fuck.
Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Colin said, what was that? Colin said, what was that? Leaked. What was that, Tab?
What was that?
I saw. What? Okay. Okay. You know when the audiences aren't having it at all. Yikes. So, following the initial wave of drama, once again, you can see that Rev is indeed talking about this Lakari accidentally showing a questionable link. You know it's bad, right? You know when something goes wrong. They're also talking about it. Windows Central is talking about it. You know when it goes wrong too, huh? So, back to what I was saying. Following the initial wave of drama, Lakari was almost immediately banned by Twitch as well as Kick, and most likely preemptively on other streaming platforms as well. Well, there was an update about that, and turns out he wasn't permanently banned by Twitch, but only banned for 7 days according to his girlfriend, which raises serious questions again about how Twitch conducts itself as a business. And apparently Twitch is fine with it. Yikes. Well, either way, Lakari posted a grooving apology on X, claiming that he had never consumed this type of content while admitting an addiction to illicit materials, alongside promises that he will clean up on his act. So this is what he has to say. During my last stream, I opened Notepad which revealed a link. Let me continue over on X. The list in the link included titles that suggest CC stamp further down. I have never consumed this type of content, nor do I think it's acceptable. I decided to keep streaming in an effort to downplay the severity of the situation which was deceptive. Yeah. This was a mistake that I deeply regret and apologize for. The link gave access to abusive material for anyone to see. This is serious and horrible. I recognize that trivializing abusive material on stream is not okay and can lead to real harm. It's my responsibility to provide a safe space for my community and peers, in which I failed to do so. Yep, as you can see, people aren't having it at all. Yep. Any chance you could explain this? You could see people aren't having it. Yup, people are not having it. They don't want to. They are not accepting his apology. They aren't having it. Okay, they aren't having it. And Lurich pointed out, your responsible is to check yourself in if you feel the need to watch shit like that. Whoops, I shouldn't say that in the stream, but oh well. Nothing in this situation has to do with that. What people saw on stream. It's about the fact that you watch it stick out like that. Coming on here with a statement full of BS is crazy. Dude, you should check yourself for urges like this. Yeah, I agree. People are telling him they should be in jail. They need to go to jail. Yeah, people are saying you need to go to jail. They're not accepting his apology. Anyways, this is a highlight, knowing that Notepad's lost session can actually save on what you type. So, well, if you're not careful enough, the consequences are coming to you. So be careful, ladies and gentlemen, on what you do. And yes, once again, this is coming from Windows Central, and thanks to Windows Central and Rev, I now know the context what Lakari did wrong, and you should not do the mistake like him. It's not good. So let us know in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on this? Yikes! For me, it's yikes. Don't become an example like him. Don't be one of them. Okay? Don't be one of them. Right? Okay. Now let's move on to another round of tech news. This time for real, and see what else we have. Okay, we are talking about Google related, and yes, YouTube Music has some new enhancements which now synchronizes your queue across Android, iOS, and web. Nice. So the YouTube Music queue will now sync between your signed-in devices to let you seamlessly continue listening. So the now playing queue on Android and iOS was previously independent, but now you can do the same. You can now see your, or I should say, you can now see your last played song on any device in the mini player when opening the mobile apps. From your iPhone or from your browser, temporarily replaces the artist's information until you start playback. So your queues are simply kept in sync with YouTube Music appearing to prioritize the last played session on any device to update or override existing queues. So I would say this is a good live quality change coming from YouTube Music. So nice one, I would say. Nice one. Okay. Well. Another Windows update, another emergency patch. Apparently, people are still not having it with the latest update where some pieces are still having issues, and yes, for the second time, Microsoft has issued an emergency update. Second time in a month. Not even close to the end of the month. They already issued another update. So they're rolling out a new update that is titled KB5078.127, which is now rolling out on 25H2 or 24H2. And Microsoft told Windows latest it's an out-of-band patch to fix an issue that broke Outlook Classic if you're using POP or PSD client, among other apps on Windows 11. Even if you didn't run into any problems after the January 2026 update, you'll still be offered KB5078.127. So if you can give me a moment, let me check if I do have an update. And yep, I do have an update, but I'm not gonna install it right now. I will do that after my show. But back to the topic. This emergency update shows up as 2601 update KB5078.127. 26,200.7628 is available on the Windows Update page. If you're on version 24H2, it will bump the OS to Windows 11 build 26,100.7628. It takes approximately 5 minutes to finish in downloading at about 200 megabits per second into the speed, and another 3 minutes to install, which will require a single reboot. Oh, who's there?
It's Geo!
Hi, Geo! Hello. You're welcome to the cafe. Okay.
Another Windows garbage. I mean Windows update. All right, continue your headline.
Okay.
I'll join in the next headline.
All right. Anyway, so back to the topic. KB5078.127, as I said earlier, is the second emergency update for Windows 11 in less than 10 days. The first emergency update, KB50777744, was released on January 17, but it was optional. However, today's emergency patch is mandatory because it fixes more severe and widespread problems. After installing Windows 11 KB508127, Outlook Classic with POP accounts or PSD files will work again alongside other third-party apps that were unresponsive after the January 2026 patch Tuesday update. Microsoft said in a statement, in the certain Outlook configurations that store PSD files on OneDrive, Outlook may hang and fail to reopen unless the process is terminated or the system is restarted. Users may also see missing sent items or previously downloaded emails being re-downloaded. In a statement, Microsoft previously clarified that the bug is also affected third-party apps that save files to the cloud, such as OneDrive or Dropbox. Heck, it could even affect Google Drive, but they didn't mention it. So, what even is this update, and should you install it? Well, it is dubbed, once again, KB5078.127 is dubbed as an out-of-bed emergency update, and it will download automatically to address a bug that makes apps unresponsive, including Outlook Classic. You should install the update if you have issues, but technically it will apply to your PC automatically. So in Windows' latest test, they observed that Outlook Classic would not open when you use POP accounts and save PSD files. For example, if you only had a Microsoft 365 account configured, you would still be able to use Outlook. But if you added a POP account or used PSD files, Outlook Classic would open and get stuck at this screen, which would say loaded profile. It will indefinitely be stuck until you close it. So if you're ran into this scenario, you will have to go to Task Manager and terminate Outlook or end the session there. So aside from that, however, the issue was linked to a broader problem that, according to Microsoft spokesperson, also affected third-party apps that relied on the cloud for file syncing. Yup. And yeah, it has been a mess.
Microslop. I mean,
It's been a mess. It seems like this first 2026 update of Windows 11 is not good. It's a mess. Real mess.
people are people.
Later, Windows latest reported that File Explorer's customization or the file known as desktop.ini, Sleep Mode S3, and Outlook Classic were broken. Do I even need to verify that? Let me check right now in my terminal, right, real quick. So if I go open my terminal,
Microslop.
if I go open command prompt in my Windows terminal and type power config/a, yes, hybrid sleep is not available. It's broken. I can confirm.
Go Microslop. Let's go. AI.
It says here, standby S3 is not available. The hypervisor does not support the standby state, even though it can standby. Even though my S0 works, standby S0 or low power works, but
Like I said.
no.
Like I said. Hero. Like I said. Let's go AI slop. Let's go Microslop.
and for
Microsoft.
and you can see the current status not acknowledged. So Outlook
It's
Classic
either
and
to-
third party.
If Microsoft isn't officially acknowledging it, then the one thing is for sure, it's either Microsoft going to remove Sleep Mode S3, or Microsoft is just a little bit, or Microsoft is just investigating. It's either one of the two things.
Possibly, it could possibly either that. But yeah, aside from
What
the
browser are you
S3, which is for older PCs, black screen or wallpaper resets not acknowledged yet. Desktop.ini file broken, not acknowledged. While the last four were acknowledged by Citrix. Well, Citrix for Citrix remote desktop, while the last three are acknowledged by Microsoft. This remote desktop stops working, acknowledged by Microsoft. Shutdown feature does not work properly, acknowledged by Microsoft. And system fails to boot, thankfully not in my case, acknowledged by Microsoft. So, while this update issues a patch for Outlook Classic client not working if you're using pop account, and some other bug fixes too. The other two or three have remained to be acknowledged. So yeah, well, this is the last update of January 2026, and yeah, I can confirm once again in my Windows update, it is pretty much mandatory. So if you are running Windows 11, go download the update right now while you can. I mean, it's if you want to keep your system up to date and have some good bug fixes, even though Microsoft kept screwing up big time. But yeah, just keep installing latest updates, but just be careful because sometimes it's not gonna work either way. But yeah, anyways, let us know in the comment section down below what are your thoughts on this, and Microsoft really needs to fix this shit. And let's read the comment from Torracer. Mr. Nutella should go! That's what Torracer said. Yup. You heard that
God
right.
damn it, Microsoft. God damn it.
Alright. Now as we move on to the next headline, Gio, you have any next headline?
My next headline is my balls.
Oh. Wow. I love that.
Big news for all of us here. I have you guys reported about the uh where Photoshop is now actually working on wine right now, actually.
Oh yeah, I have actually saw a video of Brody Robertson. Even the Linux experiment was talking about it. If I'm not mistaken, I have heard that Photoshop now works on Linux. Well, this is a progress at least.
Developer has finally done it. Okay, let's just do a live stream real quick. Windows using Brave, because of course I would use Brave. And this is it. Alright, I think the stream should be ready. There you go. Alright, a developer has patched Wine to make Photoshop 2021 and 25 run on Linux. Adobe Club installers finally work thanks to HTML, JS, and of course XML fixes. A big breakthrough to Adobe Creative Cloud on Linux. This is from Tom's Hardware. Now, yes, officially, Photoshop is not supported on Linux, and native versions of the app have never been released into the open source platform. However, people have managed to get older releases. However, new versions that require, of course, the CC, Adobe's Creative Cloud, have been locked to Mac OS and Windows. Mamaya pa. Until now, because the developer has figured out how the hell those installers work with a few simple tweaks. Now, this is in Reddit from this guy. So if you go back, oh my god, whatever Reddit was showing me, whatever Reddit was showing me, that's terrible. Anyways, yes, Adobe installers work on Linux, PR on Buddy. Basically, he got this into installing, like, this is KDE. He's probably running some version of Linux, but yeah, you see, Photoshop 2021, it may look like Windows, but no, it's just a KDE theme, which by the way you can get later on. I'll explain how. Photoshop 2021, which is a very fairly recent version of Photoshop, and my golly god, you can see it installing. Like, damn, it's actually installing. Now, those are just installers. It confirms working for Photoshop 21 and 25. There's actually an update. This is a PR in which they put it on, of course, on Valve's software Wine for Proton, and of course the binary, I think it's right there. There's an update in which the collection works. So this is a very quick how-to. So step one, you need to have a Steam compatibility tool. Go to that folder specifically, then do that, then compile that. Actually, you can basically follow this. I can't explain it to you, but basically, theoretically, the collection installer works. The files does extract from AE all the way to Premiere Rush, although I'm pretty sure they won't work. If I may want to say, yeah, it probably won't work. But yes, the installers does work. The dev published a set of patches that target deep compatibility issues pertaining to MS HTML and MS XML3, the two Windows Core subsystems that handle HTML and JavaScript rendering in the installer UI, along with the parsing with the XML config files. The patch grabs data on C data, to bypass strict parsing on Linux and corrects Wine's ID handling, so it calls reach the OS properly. Basically, what he says is that the goal was basically to emulate Internet Explorer 9 behavior, since this is what they basically expect. The patch, however, also forces Wine to emulate IE9's event handling, so the UI can function as expected. With everything fixed, Photoshop 2021 runs, and according to him, runs butter smooth. Those fixes were submitted to a pull request to Valve's Wine repo, They were rejected with a push to submit them to the official Wine HQ project first. The developer argued that it's slower to get of course, the patch to get merged upstream, and that Valve Forex moves faster. Considering how this isn't gaming related, it probably would have never been, of course, been approved by Valve. But this is a major breakthrough through the Creative Cloud compatibility in Linux. That's something that has finally, of course, this operating system has driven away so many professionals from even trying the OS because they're too reliant on Adobe. And now that that exists, now that this finally happened, there's a lot of possibilities on what will happen. Maybe in a few years, we could actually finally see usable Adobe Creative Cloud suite in actual Linux machines running. It might not be this year or sometime next year, but hopefully in a few years from now we could probably get Adobe software for once. So this was from Assam Nasir from the Tom's Hardware website. And this is a big news, isn't it, Cairo?
Yes, absolutely. It's a big news, and especially for those who are moving over from Windows to Linux and still want to use Adobe Suite. This is a step in the progress. And heck, with the Photoshop not working, you could even soon use Premiere Pro if ever, or After Effects too. This is a major progress we're seeing here. Oh yes,
Now,
I'm seeing the reply that he even managed to run Premiere Pro. Nice.
yeah, Premiere Pro on Debian 13, which is obviously, of course, the operating system is quite new, but the kernel isn't. But you can see that, yeah, he managed to not only run, but even export a video. So he got Wine 11, then, of course, that is for running setup files. Then he found a blog from Matt KC. Out of all from the forums at Matt KC, of course, it has an instruction right here. And of course, I will not probably try this because I don't want to bloat my entire system apart. But yeah, it does do that. And then two DLLs from Windows 11. Oh my god, you have, okay. If you want to get those, of course, you can just get a virtual machine. I would recommend something like maybe virtual man, this application, if you know. It could be, it's up to you what virtual machine you will use. Personally, I would be probably using something like virtual machine, of course, the KVM, but you can use VirtualBox or VMware, but it's on you. Then get these two DLLs, then of course to put it into the one, and oh my god, and then he got the NVIDIA stuff from here. Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah,
And then
right.
and then Premiere did run, but the UI was not rendering correctly, so he had to change this, and then unfortunately he has to turn off this, and yeah, it works. It does, but of course he didn't use he hasn't tried it with Media Encoder yet, and he uses, of course, he uses DaVinci and Blender, and of course some stuff because he does color grading, 3D, and CGI. Which is kind of hilarious that the fact that this works is a testament.
Very, very. It's amazing, isn't it?
Hopefully this doesn't break. That's all I can pray for. But yeah, this is a big news, as we know. Of course, let's do another headline,
For real.
the next related line.
Yup.
And my golly, because from this, oh, this is very old. I think we should go to the, yeah, let's go front page. Oh my god. Why are they all the headlines that aren't interested? You know what? It was 18 hours ago, and the Apple Mac has turned 42 this weekend. Yes, it is official. It's now 42 years old, the first Macintosh. And that's a historic peak because we still use the same mentality like WIMP, GUI, and of course, if you know what this means, of course, what you see is what you get. Yeah, there you go. What you see is what you get. And oh my god, remember that systems used to be looking like this? Now we got inflation killing our prices. But yeah, and of course, before we all go, I would like to say something
Sure,
as
go ahead.
a disclaimer, to all, because look at this. There's barely any news about Linux, as you can see from this website. But yeah, I use Linux. As you can see, it's doing fine. I don't really use Adobe software. I'm pretty sure you don't need to survive out of that. I could just do some alternatives. And I do a bunch of stuff like this in Roblox, by the way.
Like
Yeah,
there's the Vinci Resolve. There's that.
yeah, there's that. You see, Roblox runs. It runs. It runs. It's fine. I play Roblox there. Let me just. This is what I tell you. This is what I tell you. This is what I tell you. There's like ads. I'm gonna. No. No. I'll use my own. You know what? I'm using my own. This is my own. There you go. Now the refresh. Boom. There you go. No more ads. God damn it, Brave. I only switched to you because I felt that it was something because I wanted to do something different other than using a Firefox browser. And no, I'm not using the Zen browser, because honestly I don't really like it, personally speaking. Like Arc. I don't like this. It's not for me personally. I'm a kind of a person who really likes traditional stuff. I mean, I sure you want some productivity, AI focus, whatever the hell is it, but like I don't like this. So yeah, that's basically the reason why I don't want to use Zen and I don't want to use any Firefox browser. I'm kind of wanting to change, but at that point I'm being inconsistent with my changes. Although supposedly, I think there's now something in the horizon. I think the one browser made by this one search company, was it uh I don't know what's the name, but there was a browser that was exclusively released on Mac OS. Now has a alpha version of Linux for Linux now. I think Kagi. So Kagi, it's a of course you have to pay for searching. Which has of course this, but yeah. Why pay for search? Because search engines are not free, because yeah, basically this. Yeah, basically. But yeah, Kagi also has their own browser, I think, if I recall. It's Orion. Yeah, Orion. Now the Orion browser just recently did some stuff. 3 days ago, they have released a alpha version of Orion for Linux. Oh my god, the browser is down. Oh, I mean the website is down. Damn. But yeah, in Hacker News, there you go. Kagi releases a early version of, yes, of course, this. But yes, they are now bringing Orion. Now, basically, what will suppose happen is that it will bring what is ready to test is the, of course, the menus, the right-click menus, the window layouts, demonstrated basic website navigation, this thing, everything, even the bookmarking. and they were planning to implement sync and WebKit extension. And yes, this browser will be based on WebKit, if I recall. This will be the first of its kind for competition, because right now in Linux, there's really two choices that are reliable: the Gecko engine, which is the Gecko engine, which is Firefox, and Chromium. It's between that and Chromium. And then, I mean, sure, there's Epiphany. I mean, sure, there's Epiphany, but but do you really want to use GNOME Web knowing that it's unstable? So yeah, this is kind of the first. I'm surprised that they did this. But yeah, I mean, they announced it like quite a year ago, if I recall correctly. And now that they finally released an alpha version of this, voila, perfect. I think this is. I think what's your reaction to that, Pyro?
I would say that is what I could say. It's pretty promising so far.
Exactly. And I think that is all for me. The Linux users, magbunyi kayong lahat. Lumabas na gagawa tayo ng isang iglesia ni Linux Torvalds. Back to you, Kai.
Yes. Thank you very much, Geometric Tomato. It is now 7:51 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, and we will now be taking our last commercial break. And coming up later on Asphere's Cafe, we will be diving into what's on the weekly smartphone results, along with this week's weekly smartphone poll coming from GSM Arena. So don't go anywhere. Asphere's Cafe will be right back after these messages. So stay along with us right here on Cool FM and As Radio. We will be right back. Welcome back to the program. It is now 8:02 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, and yes, we are back with another round of Tech Cafe right here on Asphere's Cafe. But actually, before that, I am actually surprised Astral is in the VC, which is one of our former co-hosts of Asphere's Cafe. I want to say hello later. Go ahead. But yeah. Anyways, we're going to continue our Tech Cafe right now, and we are going to be showing off the weekly smartphone poll results. What are the results so far? We will get into that right now. Alright, ladies and gents, here are your weekly smartphone poll results, and it looks like the small Oppo Reno 15 has a shot, while the other two miss the mark. Alright, so not so long ago, it looked like mini smartphones were all but dead. Now they seem to be striving with multiple makers launching models at several price points. Oppo launched one in the Reno 15 series, and it was the clear winner of last week's poll. But how successful would it be outside of its Reno 15 family? The Oppo Reno 15 Pro, aka Reno 15 Pro Mini in India, didn't knock it out of the park with around a quarter of the vote going in its favor. Notably, there are a lot of people who think they can get a better deal with other pet-type smartphones. Still, if you look at the yellow pie chart slice, well, right here, you can see that this one is not losing many virus to its Reno 15 siblings. So, here are the results. Yeah, for yes, I won one. It has over 96 votes, sitting at 26.74%. For maybe, but I wait for review, sitting at 40 votes, at around 11.1%. It's not available near me, sitting at 29 votes, and the percentage is 8.1%. No, I won one of the other Reno 15 models, which is at 19 votes, sitting at 5.3%. And no, there are better phones for this price, sitting at 137 votes at 38.1%. I don't want a mid-ranger at 18 votes and 5%, and none of the above at 21 votes at 5.8%. Well, on the other side of the size spectrum, the Oppo Reno 15 Pro Max, aka Reno 15 Pro in India, got second place, but this is no silver medal. It's more like second to last loser, considering that less than 10% of the vote is in the Max favor. Admittedly, some would-be buyers were left out due to regional availability issues, staying at 5.5%, though not as many as with the mini model 8.1%. Now, if we go to the Reno 15 Pro Max, or known as Reno 15 Pro in India, yeah, this is a very confusing naming scheme. You can see the results here for Yes I Want One is sitting at 50 votes, sitting at 9.5%, maybe, but I'll wait for reviews. Sitting at 37 votes, around 7%. It's not available near me at 29 votes, sitting at 5.5%. No, I won one of the other Reno 50 models, sitting at 117 votes at 22.2%. No, there are better phones for this price, sitting at 216 votes and 41%. I don't want a mid-ranger, sitting at 29 votes, and none of the above at 49 votes at 9.3%. And now for the vanilla Oppo Reno 50. Well, this is shocking. For Yes I Want One, Yes I Want 29 votes, sitting at 10.3%. Maybe I'll wait for reviews. It's sitting at 23 votes, sitting at 8.2%. It's not available near me, around 7 votes. No, I want one of the other Reno 50 models, sitting at 51 votes, at 18.1%. No, there are better phones for this price, sitting at 126 votes and 44.7%. I don't want a mid-ranger at 23 votes, and none of the above at 23 votes, also 8.2% for both. Both I don't want a mid-ranger and none of the above are tied. Okay, both the last two are tied. 23 votes, 8.2%. So well, it's clear that the vanilla Reno 15 has a chance, but the other two aren't having it for them. So people are not interested in the Reno 15 Pro models, unfortunately. While the vanilla has some potential chance to say the least. So that is the smartphone weekly poll results from last week, and now let's head over to this week. Can the 200 megapixel cameras of the Realme 16 Pro and 16 Pro Plus get you to buy one? Now that is the good question. So a couple weeks ago, Realme launched the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Plus. Right now they are only available in India, which is a shame, of course, India being the priority market, so I'm not surprised there. But yeah, these two have some impressive specs, and though they are a bit pricey, they could have found success in other markets too. So for the specs, starting with the 16 Pro Plus, it flaunts a 200 megapixel main camera, 1.56 inch with OIS, and a 50 megapixel 3.5 times periscope, 1 out of 2.76 inch f2.8 with OIS, plus an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera and a 50 megapixel selfie module. It's not perfect for video stabilization and ultra wide videos in particular, being substandard, but it is better than most mid-range phones, many of which don't even have a dedicated telephoto camera. So if you look at the charts, oh my gosh, why does it look low quality? Low quality. What on this? It's not even clear. What the heck? It's not even clear. Like, the resolution is too low quality. they tried, but what you're seeing in the illustration, despite being a low quality, is okay. Never mind. It's alright. It sorted really quickly. Alright, nice. Anyway, so in the specs photo sheet, so you have 200 megapixel Luma color camera, and they're claiming to be the first master design in Realme number series. They have AI feature, that is AI edited Guinea 2.0. They have Camilla Pink color, and they what they call this segment's top tier performance master. Flagship level bulk battery with 80-watt fast charge. Realme UI 7, IP69 Pro level water resistance, perfect at every zoom, and 3.5 times telephoto portrait camera. So that is 16 Pro Plus. And for the Realme 16 Pro, It's cheaper than Pro Plus, but it's around 32,000 Indian rupees, which costs more than some competing mid-rangers. While GSM Arena haven't reviewed it yet, it has the same 200 megapixel main camera as the Pro Plus and the same 7,000 milliamp battery with 80-watt charging. However, it loses the periscope, which made the Pro Plus special, and has a less impressive chipset too, a Dimensity 73000 Max instead of the Snapdragon 6 Gen 4. So if you look very closely, this is your photo spec sheet right here. It's showing the Realme 16 Pro. So again, you have the same first master design in Realme number series, 200 megapixel Luma color camera, 50 megapixel selfie camera, portrait lens, AI edit Genie 2.0, another AI feature, and you get Orchid Purple in color, MediaTek Dimensity 73000 Max, flagship level bold battery with 8-watt fast charge, IP69 Pro level water resistance, and 144Hz AMOLED display. And of course, the UI is Realme UI 7. So there are a few downgrades, like a plastic frame instead of aluminum and a different glass over the screen. Unlike the Pro Plus, which is the opposite of the 16 Pro. Still, the periscope and the chipset are the main reasons to go with the Pro Plus, and saving 8,000 Indian rupees is the main reason to go with Pro. So there's your 16 Pro Plus and 16 Pro. Again, both of which are only available in India for now, which is a shame it's not in the Philippines just yet. So now you have your Pro options, starting with the Realme 16 Pro Plus. So here are your options. Okay, will you buy the Realme 16 Pro Plus? So here you have your options. Yes, I want one. I wish it's not available near me. No, not at this price. I want the Realme 16 Pro instead. There are better phones for this price. I don't want a mid-ranger, and none of the above. So there's your options. Which will you be buying? Realme 16 Pro Plus? You can vote it right now on the website. Or you can head over to GSM Arena website and head over to this blog post, and this is where you can vote if you are interested in picking up Realme 16 Pro Plus as your next smartphone. Now moving over to the cheaper variant, that is Realme 16 Pro or non Plus. Here are your options. Will you buy the Realme 16 Pro? Yes, I want one. I wish it's not available near me. No, wait. Maybe I will wait for reviews. No, not at this price. I want the Reno 16 Pro Plus instead. There are better phones for this price. I don't want a mid-ranger. And finally, none of the above. So once again, there are your options if you are interested in picking up for Realme 16 Pro. So once again, if you are interested in voting, head over to GSM Arena website and go to the latest weekly poll headline and scroll all the way until you see the poll options. So yep, it will run until this Sunday. So by Sunday they will have our results ready. So if you are interested in picking either one of these phones, either 16 Pro or 16 Pro Plus, head over to GSM Arena website right now, and the polling period will last until Sunday or Saturday. So that is your weekly poll for this week, and now let's move on to another round of Tech Cafe news. All right, back to Viva Faulty for now, and yes, we have some TikTok-related news coming from The Verge, and well, they are not having a good week, it seems. So yeah, this is coming from The Verge, as you are seeing on the screen. TikTok has suffered from extensive problems on its first weekend after completing the sale of its US arm, though some issues appear to have spread globally. TikTok has yet to confirm any issues a day after troubles began, making it difficult to surmise the extent of the problems. Nevertheless, TikTokers, including some Verge writers, have confirmed issues including difficulty logging in and inability to upload videos. A For You page algorithm appeared to have reset itself, problems loading comments, and other site features. According to Dell Detector, the issues sparked in the early hours of Sunday morning, but some users are still reporting errors. Many have found it impossible to upload videos, which set under review indefinitely, and for one Verge writer, that's still the case. A video uploaded last night has yet to go live on their page some 6 hours later. Well, as of last week, TikTok's US operation is under the ownership of an investment consortium, including Larry Ellison's cloud giant Oracle. The solution to its launch include which include collection of more precise location data and details of users' AI interactions. The new owners also take control of US content moderation, which has sparked some to fear censorship even before this week's issues, and must retain the app's algorithm based on US data. Given the timing, many drew a link between TikTok's issue, its US operations need Trump-friendly owners, and this week's anti-ICE protest in Minneapolis, exacerbated by the killing of the second local resident, Alex Pretty, by federal agents. The phrasing of the error message led several politically active accounts to assume the worst when their videos wouldn't publish, as did the fact that previously political For You pages were steadily filled with generic content. However, there's no reason to believe that the outage was directly linked to this week's ICE activity, especially some Redditors from outside the US have reported issues with the app too. Though, it's been fine for 2 of the Verge British writers. That doesn't guarantee the new ownership has nothing to do with it though, as technical problems caused by back-end changes during the migration that could easily have ripple effects across TikTok's global user base. So as of this time, they have reached out to The Verge, but haven't heard anything yet. So that is the first technical problems from what I am reading, and yes, this is the first time coming from its new US ownership for TikTok. Well, what are your thoughts on that, ladies and gentlemen? Let us know in the comment section down below. Oh, Tongo. Hello, Tongo. I see you're watching us Discovery. So he's asking me, oh damn, TikTok is US owned now? In the US, yes. Yes. It seems, yes. Let me double check on Wikipedia. Let me just double check. Okay, yeah, there it is. So the developers, ByteDance International, except for the US. And yes, it is true. It is TikTok USDS joint venture LLC, which is for US operations. So it's been confirmed that it is now US owned, at least in the American market or US. While ByteDance still owns TikTok outside the US. Yes. Alright, so it's a little bit slow tech news, it seems. I know it is really slow. But there's nothing much I can do. But yeah, you know what? Let's talk about about Google Chrome's end of support for Mac OS Monterey. And I wonder why they're already getting rid of that. So we're gonna into that right now. As you are seeing here, this is coming from 9to5 Google. Google has confirmed that starting with the release scheduled for July 2026, Chrome will end support for Mac OS 12 Monterey. So Chrome 150 will be the last version of the browser that will support Mac OS 12 Monterey, with further releases requiring at least Mac OS 13 Ventura to receive new updates. Chrome won't stop functioning on Monterey anytime soon, but it will no longer receive security updates or new features. Google has Chrome 151 release scheduled for late July 2026, but that date could change. Either way, Monterey will no longer be supported later on in 2026. Google confirmed earlier this month that Chrome 151 would strip support, but a date wasn't attached at the time. So this is what Google explained. Chrome 150 is the last version of Chrome that will support Mac OS 12 Monterey. Chrome 151 or 151 tentatively scheduled for release on July 28, 2026. It's the first version of Chrome that requires Mac OS 13 Ventura or later. You will need to ensure your device is running Mac OS 13 or later to continue receiving future Chrome releases. Older versions of Chrome will continue to work, but there will be no further updates released for users on this operating system. If you are currently on Mac OS 12 Monterey, we encourage you to move to supported macOS version, macOS 13 Ventura or newer, to ensure you continue to receive the latest security updates and Chrome features. And what events want TV? Well, they last released it in October 2021, which is almost 5 years, which is almost 5 years old at this point. So yeah, if you're still using Monterey and if you're still using Google Chrome as your main browser, well, it's time for you to either upgrade to a new macOS version or switch to a different browser that still supports. But yeah, let us know in the comments what are the thoughts on that. Alright, it is now 4 minutes before 8:30 p.m. and I know Astro has something to say. So, Astro, do you have anything to say right now? Go ahead, your microphone is yours.
Hello guys. I just came. Anyways, I have to give out my opinion regarding to the separation of church and separation of US TikTok to ByteDance. Wow, what was it again? What did it happen on TikTok in the US?
The US company now owns TikTok. I think that is Oracle, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a joint venture company that is known as TikTok USDS Joint Venture LLC. It only affects US market, not international markets. Again, US only.
Oh, so okay, now I get it. But does it affect on the content on the our United States TikTok users are able to watch international or just
they can still watch international content, most likely. Most likely, yes, they can still watch international content.
It's not something like Douyin, like it's only for China.
Yeah, not Douyin, obviously not Douyin, but just limited to China only. But they can still watch international content. But aside from but they also suffered technical difficulties, which not only US but affected every country as well.
Oh. Okay. So yeah. I think that this is a pretty interesting move, honestly, and let's see how things will work on TikTok US. So yeah.
Gotcha. All right, thank you, Astro. All right, so we're less than 2 minutes, and again, shout out to our fellow Discord audiences. I mean, Geometric is a sit and host of still a sit and host of our cafe. Again, shout out to Geometric. By the way, I know Steven, but yeah. All right, before we wrap it up, I would like to give a shout out to our Discord audiences who are watching, especially to our YouTube audiences, that is Tonko Su. Yes, Tonko Su is watching our stream. Hello, Tonko Su. Hope you're having a good time. But yeah, now shout out to all of you Discord audiences. We have Zalia, John, Astro, Marco Morales, Reggie Jr., Tor Razor, Geometric Tomato. Yes, shout out to all of you who are participating in our cafe. I really appreciate you all for showing up, and yeah, thank you all for your continued support. It really means a lot, and what make cafe so special. I really appreciate that a lot. So yeah, thank you all so much for your continued support, and yeah, we'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place, right here, as we continue to dive in what's in the latest tech industry as well, and yeah, we got more to cover. So yeah, a minute before 8:30 p.m. and that is all for the cafe tonight. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, and we will be back again tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on Cool FM and Ask Radio. Coming up next on Ask Radio, it's Tech Won't Save Us, and over on Cool FM, Music Automation. This has been Asphere's Cafe. I am Cairo, and on behalf of Asphere's Cafe team, the cafe is now closed. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same stations. The cafe is over. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.